This is the farmhouse where I grew up, where my father grew up, where my grandfather grew up, where my great-grandfather grew up. The main house was built in 1860. We got electricity in 1943 with the Rural Electrification Act. And now what I am doing is I'm removing the majority of the 1960 updates and reverting the era back to somewhere between 1920 and 1950. I'm going to show you each room in the order that I did them years ago. While I am no more of a carpenter or a designer than any member of my family has ever been, I'm doing it to suit me and my tastes. In this chapter, we're going to talk about the bed, which is arguably the most important part of a bedroom. Now, I'm going to show you several drawings. We were trying to decide twin bed or full. I had a full before. It was fine, but we decided we were going to look at twins and fulls. So in this first image, you can see the layout of the bedroom. You've got the clothing storage unit, you got the cubbies, you can see the sliding door where that's going to go, you can see the window. Now, in the upper left, you've got your twin bed and my nightstand. So that was a contender. Then the next image, we swapped things around to the opposite wall so that when you walked in, the bed was right in front of you. Then we thought about full size. And if you look over where the window is, the nightstand is halfway across the window. So even though while the bed is in the preferred position, it's not going to work. So we go on to the next one. So the full-size bed is in the second position. So as you walk in, there's your bed and your nightstand, and you've got plenty of room between the nightstand and the cubbies. So then, for the sake of argument, we take the full-size bed, we put it on the original wall, only turn it 90 degrees, and put the nightstand beside it. Now that would have worked, except notice the foot of the bed, it is partially across the window. So that's not going to work. So this is what we decided. We're going with a full, and we're going to put it in the position you see it. We hope that's going to work. The next thing to do would be to order the bed. We ordered an Ole 18-inch high platform bed. We wanted it 18 inches off the ground so that I'd have a full 16 inches for underbed storage. And there's the box that it came in. We put it on a dolly and slid it into position. And there are the simple instructions on how to install it. And it really wasn't terribly difficult. So in the next image here, we've got the main frame together, and we're starting to put in the cross braces. Now the thing about this Ole bed, it's not wooden slats, it's not metal slats. They're kind of like 2x4s in metal, and they're put in vertically, so they're very strong. And the reason why we chose this style bed, if you notice, there's no supports other than the corners and the center. So you've got plenty of room to put underbed storage. That will be important in another chapter. The tools that we used were a rubber mallet. They give you that little wrench, and it helps if you've got two Allens. And to make it even faster, you use an impact. In this case, we're using a Ryobi impact to tighten things up much quicker than by hand. It wasn't very long, and we had the entire bed assembled, and that's what it looks like. That is an 18-inch Ole platform bed. But I wanted a headboard reminiscent of a farmhouse. I found this Universal Serena headboard. It's in a very dark brown. It's almost a black, so it will match. We set it up the headboard, it mostly fit. It's a little bit narrow. If you notice real close, you can see it's just a touch narrow. We'll have to work on that. So there we've got the headboard, put it in this position that you saw the drawing of. And what we had to do was we used some long bolts, fender washers, and nuts, and cranked it up. And you see that the headboard is a little bit narrower than the bed, and we just kind of sprung it into position. And you're not going to see it. It'll be good enough. And it gives the illusion of a old style headboard. In this image, you can see there's all the boxes that all the parts came in, and the bed is in the final position, and there's the nightstand right beside it. Now the next problem we had was, what are we going to use for bedding? I looked at all kinds of mattresses, and now this is my opinion. The 8.5, 9-inch mattresses, they're not very comfortable. That was what we wanted, so that with the 18-inch height, the bed wouldn't be so darn high. However, the only mattress we found comfortable was an 11-inch mattress. So now it's a pretty good step up into the bed. However, we're going to have to deal with it. So anyway, we ordered full-size blankets and comforters from the same company that we used for the individual cot, because we really liked that. But when we got the stuff in, they weren't full. They were full queen. Now the difference between full and full queen is it has to fit a queen, so it's way too big for a full. And even though that bed is way up in the air, the blankets laid on the floor. So they all went back, and we ended up using the twins that we used for the cot, because we never could find decent bedding for the cot, so we just bought twin. So it was a little too big for the cot, and this is going to be a little bit too small for the full. There's going to be some compromises, but we really like the stuff that we used, and that, as you can see here, is the Cotton Craft Diamond Thermal Blanket. That goes over the sheets. Luckily, you can still get sheets in full, not queen full. And there's an end shot of the diamond blanket. And you can see that we're not going to be able to run it down the inside against the wall. It's just not going to work. So then we got the Martex coverlet in gray blue. We really liked that. That was warm and comfortable. But of course, being a twin, it's not big enough for the full. But if you get the full, it's a full queen, and it lays on the floor. So unacceptable. There it is. We threw it on, and it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but the only time I'm in the bedroom is either to change clothes or go to bed, and it's good enough for me. I don't need a destination bedroom. So that is how we chose the bed and the mattress, and the problems that we had with the mattress and the various covers in our bedroom